What I want to let you all know before we get started here is I have to let you know that trading does have its own form of risk involved. So you should never invest money that you cannot afford to lose, and always trade with equity management in mind. There is no such thing as an undefeated season, and you may incur losses from time to time, but the key is to keep your profits high and have minimal losses. And I'll show you what I mean by that when we do hit the live market. Now, I know Reed actually gave me a great introduction, so thank you again, buddy. I do appreciate that. As he mentioned, I believe he mentioned this, I did go to University of Central Florida, got accepted into law school, and really, I hit a point in my life, folks, where I was just, I did what the system of life tells you to do. Go to school, get a good education, get a good job, and then it's just kind of like, well, then what? Work forever. And so I knew immediately that I just wanted a better way, and I was running out of money before I ran out of month. And that's ultimately what led me to really investigate the Forex market. And now for the past year or so, I've been coaching and teaching, mentoring people, if you will, on how to successfully trade the Forex market. And it's definitely a passion of mine. So who is MTI and what do they do? Well, MTI is the company that's going to be backing you. MTI stands for Market Traders Institute, and it's an education company. Now, they are the first and the oldest Forex trading institute on the planet, and they have been in existence since April of 1994. We actually just hit our 21-year anniversary, which is pretty awesome, just a couple months ago. We are based out of Lake Mary, Florida, right near Orlando, about 20 minutes from Disney World, if that helps at all as well. Now, they are the largest Forex educator as far as actual support infrastructure in the Forex market. And I want you to think about that. They've been around for 21 years, over 21 years, over 30,000 clients. And folks, that's longevity. We're definitely not a company of gimmicks. I'm not a fan of gimmicks at all. And as a matter of fact, one thing I want to let you know is that one thing we stand on here is we never leave a client behind. And also where it says investing in our students in 2014, you see $2,482,462 and over 89,000 resource hours. I tell you that once again because there's a lot of companies out there that just want to provide you with something small and, they say, hey, good luck, I hope you make it. But it's important that you understand we are an institute, it's what we do, and we definitely work side by side with our students to help them achieve whatever level of success it is that they want to achieve. Now, I want you to pay close attention to this. Just one more thing here on MTI. Every quarter, brokers, they have to request profitability information from their traders. Well, last quarter, MTI did the same exact thing but for all of our students, and the results are very clear. MTI Forex traders are 85% more profitable than the average trader out there. And the proof is in the numbers, folks, But how many of you would feel that much more confident knowing that you're linked up with a company that has that type of track record? By typing in yes or me. And also, somebody said no sound. Can everybody hear me loud and clear? Just want to make sure that there's no audio issues. Okay, perfect. Then, yeah, I guess Reed will help Donald out there with the audio check. Okay, perfect. So let's keep moving here. Now, not only does MTI have some of the absolute best strategies, but MTI also has some of the absolute best expert Forex instructors and analysts in the Forex industry. Now, one specific instructor I want to make note of is Joshua Martinez. He's also known around the world as the FX Pathfinder. Now, let me just kind of give you a little breakdown on Josh, and then I'll tell you why I'm actually filling you in on his background. Josh is one of MTI's product experts. He has trained thousands of Forex investors. He has turned an initial deposit investment of $500 US and generated over $39,000 of profit. He's made thousands of Forex investments. He's a published author, international speaker, pro analyst, and he's a full-time trader. Now, why am I telling you this? Because Josh has created a strategy that I'm going to be sharing with you today. And this strategy has really allowed him and myself to do some pretty unbelievable things. For example, back in June 5th of 2011, he opened up a trading account with just $500 US. And what this gave him the ability to do was to trade with a micro position. Now, when he first started trading, maybe like many of you, definitely like myself, he was only making around $2 to $5 per trade and losing $2 to $5 per trade. But when he started going through the education that MTI offers, he started noticing there's patterns in the market. Now, if we fast forward, you'll notice that he was able to take time compounding and build residual income. And through the course, when he was able to, he certainly put more money in. But he stuck with it, and what that did is it ultimately taught him how to reinvest his money, how to compound, build residual income, And of course, when he was able to, as I mentioned, he deposited money along the way. And this is what allowed him to see daily returns of up to $4,000 to $5,000 per day in profits. I mean, he was even withdrawing $10,000 at a time. And what once took him 6 months, working 5.5 days a week to make as a personal trainer, he was now able to do in just one single day. And I want to ask you this question. How many of you would like to learn this skill? Right, type in yes or no. How many of you would like to learn this skill? If it was able to eventually get you on that type of track to where you can build up your account size. I'm not saying you're going to, so many people, I can't tell you how many people want to just get, take a deep dive into the market and they want to start making this tomorrow. But, I mean, come on, what if it really took you a little while, but after a couple of months you started, you really kind of clawed in and you got to, see these type of returns in due time. And that's the one thing that I want to let you know is that it's definitely possible. Now, one more thing I want to cover real quick is this. If you take a look at his track record, which is third-party verified, you'll see that he has a gain of 0.82% return on his initial deposit investment. Now, take a look at the bottom of the screen there. All right, you'll notice the graph of his growth. It shows that he was making money and losing money, making money and losing money. But all of a sudden in September of 2012, things absolutely just took off. We like to call this a tipping point. And what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to show you the exact strategy that's really been able to assist Josh and myself in finding our tipping points to assist you in finding your tipping points faster. So with that being said, we're definitely making some very, very good time here. Let me go ahead and pull up my charts. And when the charts are up on the screen, can you all please give me a nice Y for yes, letting me know that you do in fact see my charts? All right, perfect. All right, yeah, and I see David says London Breakout. That is correct, David. I am going to be covering the London Breakout strategy today, all right? Now in front of us, this is our ultimate charting software. This is the software that we do provide all of our students with here at Market Traders Institute who do decide to enroll in our Ultimate Traders Package on Demand program. Now, I know we have some experienced traders in the room. We also have some novice traders as well. So what I want you to do, why don't you go ahead and write down all 6 of these currency pairs. All right, we have the Great British Pound, US dollar. We have the Great British Pound, Canadian. We have the Great British Pound, Japanese yen. The Great British Pound, New Zealand dollar. The Pound, Swiss franc. And the Pound, Aussie, or Australian dollar. And I tell you that because these are the 6 currency pairs that we are going to be utilizing with the specific strategy that I'm going to be covering today. And they are all, basically, obviously, they're all pound crosses. Now, each currency pair is on a 1-hour time frame. Right? That is the time frame we're going to be utilizing with this strategy because what I'm going to be showing you today is I'm going to show you how traders literally with this strategy get into the market, make money, and get out. Okay? I will be showing you live market as well. So why don't you go ahead, type in the word done when you have all 6 of these pairs written down. And to make it easier for you, if you look at the, the screen, you'll notice a little camera on the screen there where you're looking at my screen. And if you click that camera, it'll actually save that snapshot straight to your desktop, which is pretty cool. All right, we'll save you a little bit of time. All right, thank you, Shakith. Thank you, Niels. Thank you, Amy, Stephanie. Thank you, Mark, Gary, and everybody else typing in yes. Awesome. All right. So with that being said, let me just go ahead and pull up any currency pair. Let's just go with the Pound Aussie. How's that? There it is. All right. So we'll open up the Pound Aussie, and I want you to take a look at something. If you take a look at my screen, what do you notice right out of the gate? I want you to notice and take a look at how the market moves. See, the market will do something known as form wave-like pattern. So the market will form highs. The market's going to form lows. Market's going to form highs, going to form lows, and the market will do this over and over and over again. And what our goal as investors is to what? Our goal is to be able to capitalize on these movements, all right? And the beauty about the Forex market is that you can make money when the market's going up, and you can make money when the market is going down. Now, one thing I want you to understand, all right, besides just how the market moves, is you can tell that the market, as the market moves, how many of you notice the market does in fact make higher highs and higher lows or lower lows and lower highs? It doesn't just go straight up. It goes up, but it goes up in waves. And the reason I tell you that is because that's our advantage, and that's where we're going to be able to take advantage of the market, because one of the great things about the Forex market compared to other markets is that if you want to buy the Forex market, just buy it. And if you want to sell the market, just sell it. There's not many options. You can either only buy or sell. So understand that you have a 50-50 chance of being right or being wrong just by simply guessing, which means that if you add a decent strategy behind it, how many of you agree that the percentages will fall highly in your favor, right? So what I want to do now is this. I want to go ahead and draw this out for you on a blank part of the screen, and then I'm going to show it to you in the live market, because it's spatially going to be a little bit easier for you to understand on a blank part of the screen as far as the strategy goes and what we're trying to accomplish here. All right. Now, the neat thing about the Forex market is that the Forex market will do the same thing over and over and over again. You know, day in and day out, it will repeat itself over and over again, typically during the same areas, typically during the same time frames, and you know, typically providing the same signals. So one of the things that the market will do for you, the market will provide you with something known as a high and a low. All right. Now, the market will provide you with either a high and or a low. All right. Well, not both, but it will provide you with a high or a low 2 times a day. All right. Now, basically, yes, the market will form highs and lows more than 2 times a day, depending on the way you're looking at it. But as far as the 2 main highs or lows of the day goes, that's what I want to talk about. So the market will form a high or a low 2 times a day. And the first high or low of the day, let me just bold this up for everybody real quick so it's a little bit easier to see here. All right, now the first high or low of the day, that's going to form anywhere between the hours of 2 a.m. Eastern Time and 5 a.m. Eastern Time. So if you take a look at the gap, how many hours do we have between 2 and 5? No, Maheen, there is going to be other, we have multiple speakers on today, buddy. So what I'm referring to is Forex specifically. Okay? All right, so the first high or low will form between 2 and 5, and then we have the second high or low, and that will form anywhere between the hours of 8 a.m. Eastern Time and 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, by typing in yes or me, how many of you agree with me that the first high or low of the day between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. is going to be much, much easier to find than the second high or low, which is between anywhere from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m.? How many of you agree with me on that? And so for the sake of today's example, I want you to understand that we are going to be focusing in on the first high or low of the day between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. Now, the candle that we're going to be focusing on is the 3 a.m. candle. All right. So every time I move forward in the market today, and as we go ahead and focus on our strategy, when you hear me referring to the 3 a.m. candle, you know, you might wonder, well, didn't you say 2 to 5? Yes, but that's why we want to give the market some time to basically move, and the 3 o'clock candle is the candle that we're going to focus on before we actually take action on what we're going to be doing. All right. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is this. Every single day, okay, the market's going to move, right? And the market's going to provide you with something known as the average daily trading range. And so the average daily trading is, I'm going to type this out for you. So we have average daily trading range. Now, the average daily trading range can be anywhere between 50 pips and 200 pips, all right, every single day. Now, because of that, what I want you to know is that we're going to be going after a minimum of 50 pips on each trade we make. So listen, we could be going after more pips, but at a minimum, we'll be going after 50 pips. So we'll never be going after less than 50 pips. All right, just so you know, but it could be more. And then finally, and what I'll do for you is this. Let me just put an arrow right here so you know, 50 pips minimum. And then finally, what's the biggest question of all? What is a pip and what is it worth to me? So what I want you to know is that there's 3 major lot sizes traded in the Forex market. And depending on your investment, that's going to depend highly on what your return on investment will be. So for example, if you start off with the smallest lot size available to you in the Forex market, that is known as a micro lot or a micro position. A micro lot is a $20 investment, and each pip is worth 10 cents. Okay, no shame in that. A lot of people start off at a micro lot. You know, there's no shame in that. Once again, it's all about building your way up. And then the second lot size available to you is known as a mini lot. Okay, a mini lot is a $200 investment, and 1 pip is worth $1 US. All right, and then once again, a lot of people do start off at that, and the next lot size available, the largest lot size available to you, that is known as a standard lot. This is the lot size that everybody is eventually trying to get to, or known as a standard position, and that is a $2,000 investment, and each pip is worth $10 US. Okay, so by typing in yes, how many of you understand this so far? How many of you are with me? So for example, watch this, ready? Let's just say on the low end, you make 50 pips per day. All right, that's either, okay, that's going to either be, 500 US dollars with a standard position, $50 with a mini position, or $5 with a micro position. And just for the sake of today's example, I want you to know that everything I'm going to be showing you is as if we're trading with a standard lot. I'm not going to be getting into detail about brokers and spreads and this, so I'm going to keep it very simple. So let's just say we capture 50 pips. Okay, I'm going to equate that to 500 US dollars because I'm not going to get into too much detail with brokers and stuff like that. Okay, it all depends on your broker, and I just don't want to spend too much time on that. Okay, so just some takeaways. Make sure everyone's with me. We're going to be focusing on the first high or low of the day between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m., which will be honing in on the 3 a.m. candle. We're going to be going after a minimum of 50 pips, and we'll be utilizing a standard lot as the example. All right, so can I move on? Is everyone good to go? Everyone have this written down? Everybody have that snapshot? All right, perfect. All right, so I'm going to clean this up, y'all. All right, perfect. Thank you, Mister. Thank you, David, Michael, Roger, D, Gary, and everyone else. All right, so let's clean all this up. And the very first thing I want you to notice, let me back this market up. Here's the very first thing I want you to notice. All right, why do we focus in on the 3 a.m. candle? Okay, let's talk about that. Well, first things first, let me go ahead and show you something. Does everybody see, let me just go ahead and show you this. As a matter of fact, let me do this. Let me just kind of zoom in so that everybody can see this a little bit easier. All right, here we go. All right, take a look right here. Does everybody see this white candle right here? Type in Y for yes if you see this white candle. And then tell me, does that say 3 a.m.? Does everybody see? By the way, I apologize. Let me tell you where I'm looking. Look at the top left-hand side of your screen. You should see where it says 3 a.m. Okay? So we have the 3 a.m. candle. Now watch this. What happens after that candle? Does everyone see how the market, okay, creates a directional push down towards the south? And basically, what it's going to do, folks, every morning is once that candle appears. Now watch this. Watch this. How many pips did the market move? You might not think that's a lot of movement, but how many pips did the market move? If you take a look at the top left-hand side of the screen, notice the third line down where it says range with pips in parentheses. Can you all type, just be so kind, type in the number that you see. How many of you see 156? Does everyone see 156? All right, by typing in 156, it tells me that you do in fact see 156. All right, Shaki or Shaik, sorry about that. Yeah, just take a look right there, 156, okay? So understand, folks, that the market literally moved 156 pips within 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. As a matter of fact, within 1, 2, 3 hours, it moved 135 pips. So that's 1,350 US dollars profit at a standard lot within 3 hours. All right, are y'all starting to grasp the concept and understand why we focus in on that candle now? Let's take a look at some other examples here. All right, and all I have to do, folks, is go to a beginning of a trend, and I can almost determine that, yeah, that's going to be the beginning that's going to be the 3 a.m. candle because of the movement. So once again, if I go ahead and just show you on the bigger scale, look at this, folks. So right here, once again, take a look at this, folks. 3 a.m. candle, directional push. Take a look right here. Same thing, folks. And I could do this all day long. But by typing in Y for yes, do you all now understand why we focus in on the 3 a.m. candle? Is everyone with me? And watch this. Let me show you one more. Look at this green arrow. 3 a.m. candle. You see that? How many pips did the market move? In 2 hours. Okay, market moved 95 pips in a matter of 2 hours because we're on a 1 hour time frame per candlestick. All right, so once again, folks, that's $950 US within 2 hours. So, all right, so let me move on. But before I move on, I'm going to ask you, does everybody now understand what I'm doing? Not from a strategy standpoint, but does everybody understand why I'm focusing in on the 3 a.m. candle? All right, no, Gordon, buddy, I'm not sure if you joined us late, but this is actually good for 6 pairs, and they're all pound crosses, okay, buddy? All right, so let me advance the market forward. Let's get to live market because I was just showing you past market. So just to kind of build that proper expectation, I didn't even really have to go that far back. But once again, folks, if you look at this downtrend, you know, 3 a.m. there's going to be directional push. 3 a.m. directional push. So let's get right into the strategy, folks. And this is where I have so much fun because I'm going to tell you right now, folks, whether you're trading live, whether you're a demo trader, doesn't matter. What I'm going to show you right now is literally one strategy. Finally, there we go. Is just one strategy of many that we actually teach here in the club that I'm going to be talking about today, okay? So, first things first, let's find a 3 a.m. candle. Now, perfect. Can everybody please be so kind to confirm for me, does the candle on the screen represent 3 a.m. yesterday morning? So this was yesterday morning, 3 a.m. Can everyone confirm that we are in fact looking at yesterday? Okay, so the moment we have a 3 a.m. candle, and what I'm going to do to make things a little bit easier here, let me make sure I didn't lose that candle. All right, so let's just take a look. All right, 3 a.m. Perfect. So once we identify the 3 a.m. candle, I'm going to go ahead and type this out for you. 3 a.m. Eastern Time, okay? So once we identify the 3 a.m. candle, which we obviously have already identified that, which is right here, I'm just going to place an orange arrow right here to signify that this is in fact our 3 a.m. candle. Now, the moment we identify our candle, here's what I want you to know. We are immediately going to do 2 things. Okay, we're going to place 2 horizontal lines at my 3 a.m. candle, and these are referred to as our entry buys and our entry sells. So the first green line that I'm going to place on the screen, this is known as my entry buy, and my entry buy is going to be plus 10 pips above my high. Okay, so plus 10 pips above my high. That's exactly where my entry buy is going to go. And let me just bold this up so everybody can see it nice and clear. And what I want to do now is let's go ahead and place our entry buy signal. So right here, take a look at the 3 a.m. wick high, and we're going to go up 10 pips. Okay, so not 10 pips above the close, but 10 pips above the wick. So let's go up 10 pips. If we're at 2.03168, let's take it up to 326, and right there. Okay, so we have properly placed our entry buy signal, which is plus 10 pips above our 3 a.m. wick high. Now, the next line we need to draw, this is known as our entry sell. And our entry sell is going to be minus 5 pips below the low. So if you're saying, well, below what low? Below the 3 a.m. wick low. All right, so once we go ahead and set this up, entry buy and entry sell, let me place my horizontal line right here. And by the way, I'm going to do the first one for you, and then I'm going to ask you to kind of guide me through the second one, all right? So let's drop this down 5 pips. Right there, okay? So is everyone with me so far? By the way, this is never going to change. Every morning, it's going to be the same, okay? It's going to stay the same every single morning. Now, understand, folks, these are nothing more than pending orders, okay? We are not physically in the market selling or buying yet. These are pending orders. The market must move and must cross past my entry buy or my entry sell line, and the moment one of those lines is when I will know if I'm going to buy or sell the market. So let's advance the market and take a look here, folks. I actually almost wish the candle wasn't this big, but let me ask you all a question. Did the market cross into my entry buy or entry sell? This one shouldn't be too difficult to pinpoint. Did the market cross my entry buy or entry sell? Okay, the market crossed into my entry buy, right? So the first thing I'm going to do, and by the way, when the new candle forms, I need you all to understand that the candle is not going to be this big, okay? The candle is going to form right here, And what it's going to do, it's going to be very, very small. It's going to fluctuate. So the moment it crossed my green line, the rest of that candle wouldn't be there, okay? But the moment it crossed the green line and I realized I'm going to buy the market, what I'm going to do now is this. I'm going to delete my opposite order, okay? I'm going to delete my opposite order. My entry buy now becomes my actual market buy, okay? My entry buy now becomes my market buy, and I'm now going to place my stop. So let me ask you this. Well, let me tell you this first, then I'll ask you next. If I'm going to go ahead and place my stop, follow me carefully here. My stop, when I'm buying the market, okay, when I decide to buy the market, my stop will go at the 3 a.m. wick low, okay? So right there, that's going to be my stop at the 3 a.m. wick low. And once I place my stop, all right, let me figure out how many pips am I going after. Now, here's how you know that. How many pips am I risking? How many of you can tell me? What am I risking from a pip standpoint? I am risking 71 pips, correct? So listen, remember, minimum 50 pips. So if I'm risking anything less than 50 pips, okay, if I'm risking anything less than 50 pips, I'm going after 50 pips. But if my risk is anything greater than 50 pips, I'm going after whatever my risk is. So if I'm risking 71 pips, I'm going after 71 pips. I need to take this, I need to put my limit at the 03982. So 03982. All right, and that's going to go right there. All right. So once again, folks, my target is now plus 71 pips reward. Okay. So I'm gonna keep that right here. Now watch, folks. Let me ask you a question. Within that hour, did the market fulfill our target? Yes or no? Did the market fulfill our target, and did we? And remember, folks, you're not staring at this all night. You literally set this up, you go to bed. So at 3 a.m., listen, at 3 a.m. you wake up, okay? You set this up, entry buy, entry sell, you get into the market, you go back to bed. It's either going to take you out, or it's either going to stop you out or limit you out. You got limited out, so guess what? Your profit is now, you're up 71 pips, and 71 pips, or 710 US dollars profit in 1 hour. Folks, type in Y for yes, or type in the word me. How many of you would be pretty excited if you were able to jump into this trade and you were able to capture this type of profit just based on one little trade? And guess what? While others want to go the whole day wondering what's happening, you took advantage of the London breakout. You got in, you got out, you're done. You could be done for the day. So what do we do next? Well, now that that trade is complete, I am now going to wait for the following morning. So let's go to this morning. All right, so I'm now looking for this morning, 3 a.m. Okay, so let me go ahead and locate that. Okay, we're one candle ahead of ourselves. So there we go. Now let me delete the stop. Let me delete this. Let me delete all this. All right, now watch carefully, folks. Once again, it's 3 a.m. candle, right? So what's the first thing we need to do? First of all, can everybody confirm for me, is this the 3 a.m. candle? Yep, absolutely, right? So once I identify the 3 a.m. candle, we're now going to place our entry buy and our entry sell. So my entry buy, how many people can tell me where's my entry buy going to go? Bingo. Great job, Niels. Plus 10 pips above. So right there, 10 pips above. Now, where's my entry sell going to go? Where's my entry sell going to go? Bingo. Great job, Donald. KD. Minus 5 pips below, okay? Minus 5 pips below. Remember, folks, this is never going to change. All right, so let's drop this down 5 pips. And there we have it. Our entry buy, okay? And by the way, I would type this out again, but because we're on a time crunch, I just want to kind of keep moving. But remember, our entry buy is plus 10 pips above our 3 a.m. wick high. Our entry sell is minus 5 pips below our 3 a.m. wick low. And now I'm going to wait for the market to do its thing, and watch this. Did the market cross into my entry buy or my entry sell? The market crossed into my entry sell right here, right? So this is now going to be my indicator that I am now looking to what? I'm looking to short the market. Why? Because look where the market hit. So first things first, we're going to delete our opposite order. Okay, once I delete my opposite order, I'm now going to place my stop. Where's my stop going to go? Well, watch carefully, when I'm buying the market, okay, when I'm buying the market, my stop will go at the 3 a.m. wick low. But when I'm shorting the market, my stop will go at the 3 a.m. wick high. It's going to go plus 5 pips above my 3 a.m. wick high, okay? So let's bring this up right there. There's my stop. Now, how do we know how many pips we're going after? I have to measure my risk. So how many pips am I risking on this one trade? Who can tell me? I am risking 57 pips. So if my risk is 57 pips, I'm going after 57 pips. So let's bring this down to 57, and that will take me to 03651. So 03651. Right there, okay? So once again, folks, I'm going after 57 pips. All right? So listen, your stop is set, your limit's set, you're ready to go. You're looking to go after 57 pips, reward, and you're going back to bed, folks. You go back to bed, living your life, right? And folks, did the market fulfill our target, yes or no? Did the market hit our target this morning, yes or no? So I am up 57 pips or $570 US profit in 1 hour. Folks, how many of you would be pretty excited, or sorry, in 2 hours, how many of you would be pretty excited if you were able to jump into this trade this morning, and if you were starting off your Thursday with $570 US profit, and if yesterday you were up $710 US profit? So if I take this out to live market, folks, here we go, right? Can't go any further. But do you all now see how the market creates this directional push immediately right at that 3 a.m. candle? And then what happens? The market starts to kind of taper off, and it starts kind of consolidating. It starts channeling. It just kind of, you know, it wants to make up its mind. And that's the beauty about the market. But by typing in Y for yes, how many of you find value in this? And how many of you would like to be a part of a club that not only teaches this, but we literally talk about so many strategies that are just as awesome as this one. But do you believe that that would be a big game changer in your careers, right? Especially if you're new at the Forex, you know, trading the Forex. And so let me go ahead and let me just do one thing real quick. All right. And all right, there we go. All right, so once I go ahead and let me bring this back up. All right, and let's talk about the next thing, okay? So right here, take a look. That's where we're at right now based on yesterday and today. All right, now let's take a look at another one. What do y'all want to look at right now? All right, 3 people say pound New Zealand. Where's that at? All right, here's pound New Zealand. All right, let's take a look at the pound New Zealand. All right, so first things first, what are we going to do? We need to locate our 3 a.m. candle. So let's back this up, and let's look for the 3 a.m. candle. Not sure where it's at, but we'll find out. So that is my, oh, right on the money. There we go. All right, so 3 a.m. candle right here, correct? All right, so let's do this. What am I going to do first? Who can tell me? First things first, we need to place our entry buy plus 10 pips above, correct. So let's bring it up 10 pips, right there to the 13. Entry sell goes where? Minus 5 pips below. Okay, right there. And that's it, folks. What am I going to do now? I'm waiting for the market to take its course. Now let me ask you, did the market cross into my entry buy or my entry sell? What did the market do? The market crossed into my entry sell zone, right? It crossed my entry sell. So what am I going to do next? I'm going to delete my opposite order. Let me just put an orange arrow right here, 3 a.m. candle. All right, so I'm going to delete my opposite order. If I'm shorting the market, I'm going to place my stop plus 5 pips above the 3 a.m. wick high, right? So let's bring it up 5 pips. Right there. So now that that's set, let's measure our risk. What are we risking, folks? Who can tell me what we're risking? I am risking 85 pips. So if I'm risking 85 pips, what's my reward? I'm going after 85 pips. So 85 pips, and that will bring me to 28396. So 28396. 28396, right there. Okay. So there it is, folks. I'm going after 85 pips, right? So if I'm going after 85 pips plus 85 pips, reward. So guess what? Our stop is set. Our limit's set. We're living our life, doing our thing. Folks, did the market fulfill my target this morning? Yes or no? Yep. So this morning, I had a gain, a win of 85 pips or 850 US dollars profit in how many hours? In 3 hours. Folks, would you be pretty excited if you were able to generate this type of profit in 3 hours? Yes or no? All right, so take a look at this, folks. This morning alone, do you all realize that just based on this morning, I had 2 wins, which brought me to 850 US dollars plus 570 US dollars. So do you realize that this morning I had a gain of 1,420 US dollars profit at one standard lot? Take this morning and and by the way, I didn't even get into the pound US, pound CAD, pound Japanese yen because I don't have enough time. But take the win from yesterday, apply it to those 2 today. Guess what? That right there is another 710 US dollars. Folks, that's 2,130 US dollars profit between yesterday morning and this morning on 3 trades. Based on this information, how many of you would like to be a part of an exclusive club that really covers this stuff, that really covers these strategies? And Peter's asking, what about the Euro US? Peter, that's other strategies, brother. This is strictly on the pound crosses, my man. That is what the London breakout strategy is really designed for. And you might ask why this, why that. We cover all the details in our education. But when's the last time you made 2,130 US dollars in 2 days off 3 trades? And so that's one thing I want you to understand. Now, because I only have 7 minutes left or so, I got to keep moving, folks. All right, but just if you're anything like me, then results matter. All right, so once again, I want you to imagine yourself being able to take advantage of incredible strategies that are going to really allow you to really kind of achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. Because once again, I'm all about results. Now take a look at Thomas S. He's from Ontario, Canada, one of our students. Says, I made $4,500 in my first week. Anthony S. from Trinidad and Tobago says, I would say about a month after I started to see a return on my investment. An average month of trading, I'm making 3,000 plus pips. All right. Peter Cook says, I did Josh's pound Australian, and it took me to the limit, just as Josh said. I did not move my stop or fiddle with the plan. I just bought, set my stop and limit, and left it alone as the analysis was spot on. Good for 80 pips. And then let me show you one more. Travis Danowski says, still long on the pound Canadian, up almost 700 pips. That's over 7,000 US dollars, folks. Learned a long time ago, never take profits too soon. You see, if you're wondering how is that possible with the London breakout strategy, here's why. Because we don't just cover the London breakout strategy, folks. We cover multiple strategies within our exclusive club that I'm going to be talking about here in just a second. But type in yes if you found this easy to follow, if you thought it was easy to obey, and if you thought it was easy to execute. Imagine having an income of $3,000 to $5,000 a month, especially just to start with. And if I just showed you over $2,000 between yesterday morning and this morning alone, can you now start to understand how $3,000 to $5,000 a month is very reasonable? And remember, even if you have to start off at a smaller lot size, there's no shame in that. It's all about building your way up, okay? But in this example, 9,861 US dollars in just 11 days. See, the reason our students are able to achieve these type of results, folks, is because you're going to receive 2 of our Forex masterminds and our lead instructors that run and head our trading club. All right, and they're going to be guiding you down the path to your trading events and success. Now, you already know about Joshua Martinez, but Christopher Pulver's another. Okay, he's a direct supervisor over Analyst on Demand. He's a lead analyst here, private money manager. He's made thousands of Forex investments, international speaker, pro analyst, and bottom line, he knows how to get results.